I've decided to take my career in a different direction. My last day is going to be Friday, January 21st.
Very exciting for you.
Thanks. I'm going to miss you guys a lot. Hello. I had to leave the house this morning to get coffee, which I'm already almost done with. But I have to tell you about the craziest thing that happened last night. Let me not skip formalities. Hello, I'm Danielle. We are talking about this big transition of leaving my job at the moment, which is still in progress. So let's get right into it. Last night I was climbing into bed and just out of pure instinct, for whatever reason, I grabbed for an old journal. Not even the journal before the one I'm using now, but the one before that. I don't even know why. And I grabbed this thing, I flipped it open to a random page, and it was exactly a year ago. So crazy. But not only that, the fact that this entry was one about exploring potentially transitioning jobs is absolutely crazy, but also the time frame I laid out. This seriously blew my mind. So I was talking about maybe transitioning jobs, not only that, but specifically going back to working for this person that I'm actually going back to work for, along with like growing a side gig that is also going to be a focus when I make this switch. So like literally exactly what I'm doing. But then the wildest part is that I specifically was like, oh, here's what my schedule might look like. And here's when it's gonna look like that. February 2022, which is exactly when that change is gonna happen. At the end of January, I'm switching. We're gonna do a launch with this program with students that I'm transitioning to. And then they're gonna come on in February 2022. This is wild. So I sat there last night just thinking, be careful what you wish for. But even more than that, just specifying and really visualizing and laying out, what if this happened? Whether it's through this Odyssey planning strategy that I've talked about plenty of times before, I'll link a video because that's a really cool way to go about it. Or it's just honestly like daydreaming, or it's writing it out, or it's even like drafting a potential schedule of your life, like what your ideal day looks like, or just kind of exploring different options there. Seriously, I'm like astounded. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit. It's gonna be a crazy next couple of weeks. Not only are we going into the holidays and everything, but I'm kind of figuring out that exact day of when I'm gonna put in my notice and how to handle those conversations, and like whether to tell everybody together, and if there is even gonna be a time to do that, or tell everybody separately, and it's gonna be crazy. I'm like kind of sad and kind of nervous about it, to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. And I do want to take a moment to specify why I'm actually leaving. Even though I know I'm making the right decision, it's still really sad right now, and I still like have resistance to actually doing it, like biting the bullet and telling everyone that I'm leaving and actually making that transition. Even though I know it's a really good move for me, and even though I really feel like it's the right move, it's still hard, it's still sad, and I'm still feeling resistance to do it and actually set it in stone. So the reasoning behind this is, even though I freaking adore my team, I seriously love them, wish I could keep working with them, I knew that the types of things that I was doing were not in my area of strength so much. It was like there was a tiny slice that was in my area of strength, but it wasn't even like truly in my area of strength. It was like in an area that somewhat clicked well with me, but not like where I'm really on fire. It kind of felt like, while it was really valuable to build certain skills that I may have not gotten exposure to, I may have not gotten, a chance to build in another type of role, I still needed to come back to those types of tasks that I really thrive in. First and foremost, I really, really, really missed working with students. I did this for a while, and it's just something that feels so important to me. It just lights me up, and it just really drives me. Like high school students, which I worked with before and I'll work with again, it's such a pivotal time in their life. And with what I was doing before and what I'll be doing again, I get to support them, and I really want to do that. It just gives me this inner drive that I don't feel the same sort of sense of with other things that I've done. And so I'm going back to that. Another piece to this was just what I was talking about before. I just never really felt like I clicked with the job roles, and I think I still took the time to explore and see, can I make changes within this role, within this company? But at the end of the day, it just wasn't the same as sort of other experiences that I've had, and I needed to kind of make a little pivot. So even though it's been a really hard decision to make, I just knew the timing was right. And I think I said this in the last video about this, but if I really miss the team and I really support the business, which I do, I can still be a member of this entrepreneurial community and co-working space rather than a team member, and that can be just fine, I think. So that's the honest truth. Okay, so something happened yesterday. By the way, I'm just on my way home for the holidays, and I'm glad I have a few days to kind of decompress and think about things because, like I said, something happened. I had a meeting with the CEO of my current company, another person from my team, and we were gonna revisit roles and salary and everything. The role was kind of a mixed bag. There's some exciting new things. There's some things that I wish would be taken off my plate that are still there in one way or another. But then the salary. We had talked a little bit about a pay increase, and I kind of assumed it would be like maybe $2,000 a year just because we function like a nonprofit in a lot of ways, and honestly the pay has reflected that, and they offered me a lot more money than I thought they would. And honestly, like, money isn't a huge motivator for me. I like security to a certain extent, but I really felt valued, and I felt like an excitement that the maturity of our company is growing because they're, you know, offering everyone a solid pay increase. And it made me question things. I had this whole, you know, plan in place, and, you know, the plan to put in my notice next week and the plan to return to this program to work with students. And it definitely made me question it. Deep down, I feel like I shouldn't do anything differently because I know what I really want to spend my time on. And even though this is a beautiful, generous offer from my current company, I still feel like I do want to work with students and I do want to go the direction that I've planned to go. But it definitely made me question things way more than I thought it would. I'm supposed to put in my notice tomorrow, and I am feeling real weird about it. I thought, you know, a couple months ago maybe, that if the day came where I was moving on to new opportunities, big transition, I would be really excited about it, and that would be like the main thing that I'm feeling. But knowing that I have to tell my team that I'm leaving tomorrow brings up a lot of mixed feelings. I feel sad about leaving my team, like I've already mentioned a couple times. That's the obvious one. But also like sort of a weird nostalgia. I've worked here for 2 years. It's stepping into a new opportunity also means leaving behind everything that you've built the last, you know, couple years in my case. I don't know, like I kind of felt like a zombie today. I was just like, am I really doing this? And if you're thinking right now, like, oh, obviously you're sad about it, don't do it. I texted someone last night being like, I can't believe I'm doing this in a couple of days. I feel weird about it. And this person was like, you know, maybe you should think more about it. And I was like, no, like this is what I'm doing. I know for me, like that was sort of my gut being like, no, this is still the right direction. Like, even like I said earlier, I don't think I should change my mind just because I got offered a pay increase and promotion. It's almost like that was like a test. Like, are you really committed to this other path? Or if we send you a little bit of temptation, are you gonna change your mind? And even though I'm feeling all sorts of emotions and doubt, I don't think that I've like deep down actually changed my mind about it, because I know that I want to go in a different direction, and I'm just feeling all the feelings of being sad of letting go what I've known for the last couple years and the relationships. And I don't think I need to completely cut off these relationships. Like, I really want to remain in people's lives, but it's sad and it's not going to be the same, and that sucks. The other piece to this is kind of the certainty versus uncertainty conversation, because I have a day job right now. It's an 8 to 5. There's a defined salary. I get health insurance through my job, luckily. That's all very certain and set in stone. That's the defined path. It's hard to say yes to the unknown when you see the defined path. But in this new role, I'm going to be working with high school students in a private program, and we're going to do a launch in January. And so how many students I'll be working with, and I do get paid by student, is still to be determined. That's sort of the gamble that I'm working with. But at the end of the day, I do want to do that work more. I've done enough due diligence to know that I'm going to be able to buy groceries. And I also have other endeavors that I really, really want to put the time into that I just purely can't if I am sort of taking an even bigger role in my day job and choosing that path to take this promotion and stay where I am. The strengths assessments that I've mentioned in videos before, I got an email today that she has a bunch of strengths assessments coming up for me, and it's like crazy to try to fit that in with my 8 to 5. She told me that she wants to pay me more. She gave me a Christmas bonus. Like, there are great things happening, and I don't want to deny that or downplay that. It's just also still like tough decisions, right? And prioritizing and cutting off one path so that I can really pursue another. So I've chosen the strengths assessments and working with high school students because that's way more in line with what I really want to be doing. And it still is really freaking sad to say goodbye to my team and say goodbye to the community and what I've been doing for the past couple of years. Even if I stay connected in some way, it's just sad to put an end to what I've known. So let me quit rambling here and tell you why I'm sitting here with a notebook and pens on the floor. And that is because I want to do a little bit of a journaling exercise to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. Does this mean that I have no idea what I'm saying to my team tomorrow and I need a little bit of confidence? Yes, it does. So let's see how this goes. All right, so I'm gonna be doing a play on the pros cons list. I'm really not a pros cons list kind of person, but I kind of need to remind myself what's important. And so I'm gonna kind of lay out like what are the pros and cons of making this transition and what would be the pros and cons of not making this transition to kind of like spark my thinking on like why I made this decision in the first place. So hopefully this reminds me and starts to ease some of these doubts that I'm feeling. I finished my list. This actually helped me make sense of my thoughts a lot more than I thought it would. Basically, I went through, I said making this transition pros and cons, not making this transition pros and cons, and then I starred the stuff that was the most important to me. And so with making the transition, I said that the pros would be putting more time into work that clicks with my strengths and passions, more free time overall, potential to make more money overall, a guarantee of making more per hour, and getting trained in this workshop that I'm gonna get trained in, and new relationships and opportunities there as part of that transition. Cons would be more time alone / I need to purposefully like socialize and network, and just the unpredictability of this launch, which I kind of talked about. If I were not making the transition, The main pro would be getting to continue to work with my team that I adore, and the cons would be limited schedule flexibility, hard to fit in the strengths assessments that I do, limited time to work on creative projects, and suffering the opportunity cost of staying in a role that's not a fit for me. Yikes. Honest truth, no filter. I can't believe I'm doing this tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm gonna say. That just shows that even if something is the right decision for you in your career or otherwise, it can still be really, really hard. Today's the day. Hello. Okay, so yeah, on the top right, you've got our numbers for the last 3 months. December's almost done here. And I think we have good options for, an anticipated spike in interest in January. We'll have this recurring event, which I'm sure will be discussed in the programming slide. And then I do have one more update. So I'm actually going to be leaving. I've decided to take my career in a different direction because I really miss working with students. So I'm actually going to be going back to the program that I used to do, working with high school students. And then my last day is going to be Friday, January 21st. And also don't feel out of the loop because this is my first time mentioning it to anyone on the team. But anyway, I want you guys to know that if I wanted to stay in this industry, if I want to stay in this type of role, this is exactly where I'd want to be. This team is absolutely amazing and feels like a little family, and this was a really, really, really hard decision to make, and I've just learned so much in my 2 years here, and I feel so thankful for this experience with all you, so.
Boy, I'm really gonna miss you, but I'm really excited for you, and I'm really curious to learn more, and you've definitely, the true mark of a good employee is leaving the organization better than you found it, and there is absolutely no question that that's the case. I'm going to keep on a very strong pace. I do love you and everything you've done for the organization.
Thanks.
That's very exciting for you.
Thanks. I'm going to miss you guys a lot.
Okay, on to other news.
I actually did it. I did it. Wow. I actually feel like a lot of peace and relief right now because I just feel like I've been keeping a secret from my team for a little while now as things got sorted out, and to be able to get that off my chest and tell them what's going on and have everyone respond. Obviously sad that I'm leaving, but thankful that we got to work together is a huge relief. I told them, I put the information out there, and I'm getting ready for this big transition now. And yes, of course, I frickin' cried. And now it's just 3.5 weeks left on this team, and on to the next thing, I guess. No, but I am excited, and I just feel at peace right now. I made the right decision. I am doing this to get out of my comfort zone and make a change to go in the direction that really clicks with who I am and what I want to be doing. So that was hard. It was worth it, and this is good. This is good. Yeah, I literally just told them on a Zoom call. I'm like, I can't believe it. Yeah, I cried. I kind of felt like I would. And like, it was sad, like mostly because like, I just love the team so much. And I just know I want to go this other direction. And even though like things aren't perfectly sorted out with like the new job and everything, like we still have some things to work out. Like I still just feel such a sense of like peace and relief. I'm like, and I'm just like glad that actually telling them worked out. Yeah. I feel really good. Yeah, I feel really good. They took it really well. Everyone was like, I mean, that's just a testament to like who they are and stuff too. Like they're all like really like, obviously like sad, like me too, you know, but like, you know, excited for me in this next step. And yeah, I did it. Oh my God. So I put in my notice, that happened, and only time will tell what will occur because of this decision. But I will say that it's been an emotional roller coaster since then. Stay tuned at the end for a little preview of what's been going on. But in the meantime, I wanted to share 3 interesting things that I noticed have been happening since I put in my notice. The first one is that I noticed my brain constantly looking for evidence of whether this was a good or bad decision to make. It's like every time something little happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have made this decision, or oh, this annoying thing popped up at work, thank God I'm leaving, or something. And it was almost like this petty part in my brain, like looking for reasons to justify my decision or to doubt my decision. And I just realized that that was happening and that it was getting me nowhere. So I'm just trying to notice like when that's happening, catch myself and be like, hey, this is the decision that I made and we're doing it. Already done. The other interesting thing that I'm noticing is that everyone else thinks that you're gonna be fine even if you don't. So obviously I've naturally had some doubts since I put in my notice and just wondered what's gonna happen when the world is crashing down in a few weeks, and that's just a little bit dramatic, but our brains are dramatic sometimes. Meanwhile, the people around me are like, you'll be fine, you'll be great, things will work out, and even if they don't, you'll figure it out. And I'm like, will I be okay though? I don't think so. And it's just like this funny mental process that's happening where personally, like we doubt ourselves, we doubt that things will work out. And like the people around us, like they trust in us, they believe in us, they aren't even assuming the risk of what we're doing. So it kind of like feels a little more lax to them. And so they're saying, hey, like it'll be fine. And meanwhile, in your mind, you're like, I don't think it will. So I just kind of thought that was funny. And I'm just trying to consider like, hey, what if things do work out, and not let my doubts take the wheel. And the third interesting thing that I'm noticing going on in my mind, and this one is actually good, it's actually helpful, and it is noticing the little like internal pulls that I'm feeling when I'm doing different things. So I'm still at my current job. I actually just have less than a week. It's MLK Day today, so we have the day off, and then I've got 4 more days at that job and then I'm done, which is crazy. But I'm already starting to do work for my new job. Like I had a webinar last night and everything. And so I'm just kind of noticing as I'm kind of doing both of these jobs, or even if you're just like talking about both jobs, like what is actually giving me that internal pull. And I'm noticing that like, while in my current job, I feel like a little bit of a pull, like, oh, there's some things that I want to keep doing and like I feel ownership over, versus in the new job, it's like talking about the why behind it. I get such a fire within me. It's like such a strong pull that I'm like, hey, even though I'm clearly conflicted because in some ways I like both, I do feel a stronger pull, and I'm just like noticing that internal sensation of like, ooh, like I really want to do that with the new job. And so that's been a little bit encouraging. Even if there's risk associated with it, at least I feel like I'm heading the right direction. So like I said, I just have a few more days, which feels absolutely crazy to believe, and honestly pretty scary just because this is a bit of a leap of faith. So there is so much coming up. I've already started filming kind of this next stage of leaving this job and what that transition looks like. So definitely stay tuned so that you can see what happens next. Again, there's a little clip at the end to give you an idea. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like seeing this job transition stuff, definitely like the video so I know what you like to see. And please subscribe so that you can get those videos that are coming up next. And yeah, there's a lot to see. All right, thank you again for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye. I feel like an idiot right now. I'm just really questioning this right now, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I just keep thinking about the fact that I'm turning down a significant raise in bonus for a job that has $0 confirmed. And like, I just feel like I didn't make the right decision. I don't even know. Like, this is truly a leap of faith, and I'm struggling to give up this very certain, very defined path for something that has a lot of unknowns to it. What am I doing? What am I doing?